Alright, here's the quote. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender. Good afternoon. Today I'd like to introduce Introduction, Winston Churchill. This quote reflects Churchill because of his perseverance. He has had many challenges throughout his life, and yet he has overcome almost all of them. He said this quote during the Second World War. The Nazis had conquered France, Denmark, and Norway, and now Britain stood alone against Germany. Many British politicians were ready to surrender. The importance of this quote is that it demonstrates that Churchill would not surrender to the Nazis. In one word, Churchill could be described as resilient. This is because he has had many setbacks throughout his career, but he has always moved onward regardless of these setbacks. Churchill lived from 1874 to 1965. His home was Blenheim Palace, and Churchill's childhood was lonely. His parents paid little attention to him, and he was sent to boarding school at the age of 7. When Churchill was older, he joined the army, and after a short military career, he got into politics and won a seat in the British Parliament. When the First World War began, Churchill was part of a team assigned to plan the offensive of Gallipoli, which is in Turkey. When this offensive failed, Churchill was given sole blame for the blunder, and soon Churchill lost his position in Parliament, and he joined the army, where he'd spend much of the rest of the war. After the war, Churchill would get back into government, and in the 1930s his attention switched to a new threat, Adolf Hitler. Churchill was appointed Prime Minister soon after the war began, and as mentioned before, he would not give up in the fight against Nazism. He is undisputably the man who kept the Allied cause alive, and I was also fascinated to learn that Churchill was a good painter, and he painted lots during his time in the First World War. Britain and the world is different because Churchill lived. He changed the world by saving the world. I chose the symbol V for victory because it reflects his mentality. He knew that his nation would win, even in his nation's darkest hour. Thank you.